In a world where power, glory, and deception collide, forces will battle it out for honor and pride. This winter, the battle begins. Welcome to Winter War. In a world where power, glory, and deception collide, forces will battle it out for honor and pride. This winter, the battle begins. Welcome to Winter War. In a world...
All right, we're live, ready to go. Welcome to another episode of the Offscript podcast. For tonight, I have a very special guest. He is the current holder of the Dealer's Choice card. It's one of our newest members in the WWO roster. It is, of course, TMX. Tyler, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on here.
It's great to have you here. Hey LG, welcome. And yes, we really are promoting the hell out of Winter War, for sure. Now, Tyler, I have a very simple question to start us off with, because like I mentioned, you are one of the newer members that we have on the roster. A lot of people on this roster crossed over from the promotion we were all in prior. You're a bit of the odd one out in that regard. And what I really want to know is, how did you find WWO?
Well, I had started watching the WWO product when I had saw that Jocelyn the Demon Havoc was part of the roster, as me and her were friends, and we were I've known her for a long time, and when I saw she was here with WWO, I was like, I didn't know she was part of the roster, and I was seeing her promos and everything, and she was doing really good over here. I was like, maybe I can try, task management if I can come over here and be a part of the roster and try to actually get better, at my skills of doing this, because I've been doing this a long time, but I'm still, still learning a lot. But if it wasn't for Jocelyn, I wouldn't actually be here right now with WWO.
All right. All right. David switched over to YouTube to avoid ads. That's fair. Now, like I said, you reached out to us, asked if you could join. Um, we took you in. Like, quite honestly, we take everyone in just to give it a go. What was your thoughts when you first joined WWO? Basically, how did you
I
feel the
felt that this,
conversations went?
With the conversations with Jeremy and Scully and yourself, I felt that this is going to be I was going to feel right at home, and it really has. This is truly a home. This is truly a family to be a part of, because I'm learning very quick at this game, and learning very quick at being a part. Learning everybody on the roster, learn everybody of how long they've actually been doing this, and you yourself and Jeremy and Scully have been doing this for a long time itself, even before WWO was itself, and I always wanted to try out to do this, because I had been in other feds and still am today, but here in WWO, this is definitely a whole different ball game. This is definitely a whole different scenario to be a part of, and to be a part of this family is amazing.
That's great to hear. Now, how long have you been doing promos actually before WWO?
I had started with promos. I actually started in 2013.
Okay.
At that, yeah. So I mean, when I first started out, I wasn't good at all. I didn't know what I was even saying when I was doing promos. I didn't, I knew who my opponent was, and I knew what the match type was, but I wasn't really learning as much. Like I need to know more. I need to know more about the product and needed the advice, And as years went on, I started learning, and becoming who I am today.
All right. Hi, Monica. Welcome. Now, like you mentioned, and I've seen it in quite a few eFeds, admittedly mostly looking on the outside in, what you often see is the owners quite overburdened quite often, which is something that happens quite easily when they try to do everything by themselves, so they don't really tend to ask anything of the talent that's working with them. So the, they're not learning and they're not really getting anything, and they're just kind of doing something just to get the content out, which is why, especially starting this off, especially in the Rocky situation, how WWO happened, Scully and I really had to lead on each other to make it happen. And it was for that reason that we decided, hey, we could use some extra help. Let's bring in Jeremy, let's bring in David. And that gives us the time to actually work with talent, which I think is the reason why I do say you feel more at home. Hi Selena, welcome. Um, because we do try to make people feel like home when they join us.
Right.
Let's see. David had a question. He says, other than seeing yourself live on stream, what has been something you look forward to for each show? Are there certain characters, promos, feuds, or storylines that you're looking forward to?
Like just for the future, as future as going forward.
Basically, when you watch
Uh,
one of the shows now, like let's say tomorrow's show, outside of your own match, is there anything else you're looking forward to?
I'm looking for everything, and everything that's going to be happening tomorrow and next month and going into 2026. I mean, I've enjoyed this ride so far since I've been here. I've only been here several months, and I've really enjoyed it. Since I had the first big match back at Summer Bash, and this has been one hell of a ride so far, and I think as time progresses, it's going to get even better.
Good. Confidence. I'm going to talk to you about Summer Bash match a little bit more later on. For now, I actually want to know, is there anyone on the WWO roster you look up to?
You cut there. What were you saying?
Is there anyone on the WWO roster that you're looking up to?
Definitely looking up to Jeremy the Man.
As a lot of people do,
Jeremy
admittedly.
really, yeah, a lot of people have looked up to him. I've looked up to Jeremy the Madman for a long time. Gotten the advice from him, gotten the advice from you as well, and learning how to be better at my character. Learn to be better. What can I do better to be this person?
Yeah. There are a couple of guys in the roster that I think you can take very specific um, aspiration from. Jeremy is a great storyteller. You look at a Jeremy promo, you're gonna get feed little bits of information about what's going on, about feuds, about why people are fighting. He's a great storyteller. Now, Shane Black, for instance, he's also really good at that. But what he's truly good at is bringing intensity. Like every Shane Black match, it doesn't matter who he's facing, he will get you pumped up for the match. That's an amazing trait, and I do really hope to have Shane Black on one of these episodes at some point because I do think it's going to be uh, quite thoughtful. I think a lot of people can learn from it. Um, but yeah, those are definitely people to look up to. Glad you're saying Jeremy because that's definitely one of the people you should be looking up to when you join. Um, but yeah, about TMX.
Yeah. Okay.
What has inspired you to do the TMX character?
Like how the TMX character came about.
Yeah.
Well, basically, the T and the M stand for my first and last name, which is Tyler Mullins, and then the X stands for extreme. Um, Before I became TMX, I was in another before I came to WWO, I was Tyler Extreme, and I had been that character for a long time, and then I just decided to try to shorten the name by becoming TMX and being a whole different side of myself, being a like a hardcore type wrestler. Like I want to be like I don't know you know Tommy Dreamer, like Terry Funk, Sabu, all of them guys in ECW, and try to just be badass at it and just speed my mind in promos and just give it all I have. And I think the TMX character has really gotten me far, a lot farther than who I was before.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Like, especially like you said, at this point you're around 12 years in and doing promos. So yeah, you want to mix things up a bit. Hi, Cajun. Cajun is saying hello to me, and he says, TMX, nice to meet you.
Hello, how you doing?
Now, Cajun, of course, is going to be joining us very, very soon.
Oh wow,
He's having his first match coming up next month. So you'll no longer be the
that's great.
you'll no longer be the newest guy on the roster. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to DMX, do you and I mainly ask this because you have faced a lot of variety in people, I would say. You faced a couple of faces and a couple of heels. Probably a few more heels, but they've been more sort of title implicit, you know? Would you consider TMX to be more of a face or more of a heel character?
I've faced or a heel. It really depends in between, I would say. But really, I will leave myself as really being a face because I want to be good, this good guy that wants to, you know, be a big part of interacting with the fans, and I know heel characters do that too because they interact with the fans like anything. But as being a face, you want to, um, for myself, I want to be more of a face because it's it's basically you're having fun, you're people are cheering you on, you're getting the cheers, not getting the boos, you're being this good guy.
It's nice to be liked. Um, Cajun, in the meantime, asks, does TMX like DMX?
DMX. Um, that I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know.
You're not too
A lot of people
familiar?
think no.
Yeah, okay. So I do want to I have a funny story that I had with Jeremy when we first joined regarding DMX. Um,
Mm,
when Jeremy and I first heard the name, we also thought, hey, DMX. And one thing we both said is if he likes rap music, we really should have a DMX inspired theme song for TMX. And I know Jeremy went into a chat with you to ask you about the type of music you wanted for your entrance. And
right.
before Jeremy left the call he was in with me, I did tell him if he refuses DMX, I give you permission to fire him. He didn't do it, but we went for the rock song anyway. But yeah,
Isn't DMX? Isn't that? Was that the one that then inspired the Degeneration X music, or is that
no, nothing wrestling related. I'll
no nothing like that?
yeah. I'm not sure if you ever played the Def Jam games back on the PS2. Def Jam Vendetta or Fight for New York?
No, I haven't.
No? Okay. Well,
Mm,
I do want to say when it comes to most American rappers in the rap scene, my knowledge comes from Def Jam games. So
mhm.
it's about 20 years in the past. um, which is why I do know DMX. But yeah, I do want to say this is one song in Fight for New York I actually quite like. I'll share it with you after the stream. I'll look it up for you.
Okay.
Selena, in the meantime, asks, has TMX ever thought about going into real pro wrestling?
I really wish I could. I've been wanting to do that for years. I've been wanting to train for years, but unfortunately, I can't due to my medical conditions.
That's unfortunate.
Um, yeah, unfortunately, I can't due to my medical conditions that I have, and that it would actually, like, if I took a bump or something, if I took like a slam to the mat or something like that, it would hurt my, actually hurt, the brain, really, really hard, and it would, you know, I can't go really further into it. It's a long story, but I wish I could. But even if I even try it out for professional wrestling, like for indie promotion or something like that, they probably wouldn't allow me to actually get in that ring.
That's unfortunate. There are, of course, ways you can get into wrestling that doesn't involve wrestling.
Right.
Timekeeping, commentating, announcing, all the type of stuff.
Yeah, that's actually what I've been wanting to do. There's a promotion and there's an indie promotion up in Pennsylvania, about an hour away from me, that does shows every month, and they uh they have positions for commentary and cameraman and everything and stuff like that. So I've been trying to get a hold of them and see if I can, try to actually fulfill my dreams of doing that.
That'd be awesome. This is great experience for it as well. Just being able to talk about wrestling and being more confident with your voice and speaking to people. This is a good experience
Yeah.
for all those roles. So that's definitely something. Now, earlier I did ask you about you being a heel or face. Now, you said you mostly see you as a face. Let's say a year from now, we're going to change things up a bit and we want you to be a heel. Would you still want to be TMX as a heel, or would you rather be someone else as a heel?
I would still want to be TMX, but and I if I had changed to being a heel within a year, I I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind doing it. I mean, just to be a heel, or or if I had, like, something TMX, I have a nickname, and then the TMX name, like,
Kind of
and then
blends into
have,
that. Yeah.
yeah, like heel music, obviously, and you know people booing the crap out of me,
Yeah. All right. What would you
So
say?
it
Go
would
on.
be a good idea.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe.
it would be a good idea within a year.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. It's a year from now. It's a long time, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's never a bad thing to think about these things.
Oh yeah.
Now, obviously, you mentioned a little bit about liking hardcore wrestling, and you mentioned Tommy Dreamer and Terry Funk before. Would you consider those to be your role models when it comes to real wrestling?
Um. Well, one of the role models that really inspired me was Mick Foley, hardcore legend Mick Foley. I met Mick Foley 3 times. I've actually talked to him for a good amount of time when I first met him, and I had talked to him about his Hell in a Cell match with the Undertaker, and a lot of his matches that he had, a lot of his death matches that he had with Terry Funk in Japan, and it really that was a lot of inspiration right there to talk to him about that, and him, he got emotional too talking about it, especially with Terry Funk, about Terry Funk, because they were really close friends, they were like family, and Mick Foley has been a role model to me for a long time.
It's nice you get to meet him, that's for sure.
Yeah,
4 times, you said, right?
yeah. I actually when I met Mick Foley the first time, I met him at an indie promotion, and he was signing autographs. And when I first walked up to him, I showed him the figure that I have, which is actually hanging up on my wall. It is the Dude Love figure, and he signed it, and he was like in awe when he saw the figure, because he couldn't believe how they made him. The action figure wise, he couldn't believe how they created him.
Hmm. So, how long have you been a wrestling fan for?
28 years, and I'm 32 years old.
Okay.
So we're
Oh,
going back to 1997. We're going back to the Attitude Era.
okay. I was just about to ask, 28 years. How old are you again? Because 33. Okay.
I'm 32.
32. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. I'm 28, so you've been a wrestling fan as long as I've been alive. And you haven't been alive much longer. But,
You're
yeah,
you're you're
that's
you're how old, Marvin?
28.
Oh, jeez, Whiz.
I'll always happily rub it into Scully and Jeremy and ancient people. It's, you know, got, gotta put her into place from time to time. That's just how things goes.
When I started watching wrestling, it was in August of '97, and that's actually my birth month. It was actually after DX was created, when Shawn Michaels created DX along with Triple H.
August, you mentioned, huh?
Oh yeah. My first favorite wrestler of all time was Sting.
Hmm.
Because when I first started watching wrestling, I was watching Nitro, and then I was switched back to um, Raw. Raw was War, and I would see Triple H, Shawn Michaels on there, see DX doing their thing. But the person that really got me into wrestling was my dad. I miss him very much. Um, he's been gone 8 years. Uh, he had got me into wrestling. I was watching cartoons in one room, and he was flipping through the cable channels. So we only had basic cable, and he saw WCW, and he told me to come to the living room. And then when I saw Sting and Hogan and the NWO, he thought I wouldn't even last a week watching wrestling. Look how long it's been.
28 years. That's great.
Yeah, and he took me to so many events. The first event he took me to was in 1999 at a high school, and I met Bob Backlund and Jerry the King Lawler and Gilbert um, and Honky Tonk Man.
Cool. Now, I just want to say, Monica, great question. I'm going to talk about more WWO stuff in a bit, so I'll save it for then. For now, I have one more question about real wrestling, because I do want to know where your fascination for hardcore wrestling comes from.
Watching too much ECW. I you know, the hardcore wrestling I really enjoy, especially watching the Japanese death matches. And but when I first started watching Mick Foley and Terry Funk's King of the Deathmatch tournament, that's how I really got into hardcore wrestling.
Okay. It's all Mick Foley's and Terry Funk's fault.
Well, no, I they really actually helped me.
I want to say, just say yes. They'll take it as an honor.
It's an honor. God, and God bless Terry Funk. He, but Mick Foley's still hanging there. He's still the hardcore legend. He always will be.
Absolutely. Now, Monica had a great question. She asked, what does TMX think about the WWO and doing promos and seeing the various... I guess I did this wrong. And seeing the various people doing promos.
Like, is she talking about watching other people, other roster member promos?
Yeah, how do you feel about the other promos you see on WWO, and how do you feel about doing the promos yourself?
I really enjoy them, especially when I watch Jeremy the Madman's promos. And the experience that he has, and watching Kim and Jocelyn's promos, and watching yours and Hellbilly's promos. It really is cool. It really is cool to watch, to see, and I get more motivated, get more hyped, for the next show, and for the next show after that. It gets me more ready for what I'm going to do for my next show.
Good to know. So, how do you feel about doing the promos yourself at this point? Because you've been doing them for a half a year now for WWO, if I'm correct.
Yes, I came here May 18th. Was my first day. Um, and the first show I think I was like late in June or something like that, or July.
Sounds about
Um,
right. Yeah.
yeah, and when I do my promos, I do get nervous, yes, but and I try to do retakes sometimes. When I mess up my wording or I scribble my words out. I just, or if I can't think of the right words to say, then I just stop it and then retake it again. It takes me several times. Like it gets annoying to myself, but it's like I have to get the right promo out.
Yeah. Hey, things always get better with experience. That's uh that's one
Right.
thing I know for sure. Like the first few years I would reshoot promos on the regular, and I still see it now with Johnny and Kyle, who I'm coaching pretty closely, and I'm doing a lot of joint promos with them. Um, Kyle's still finding his footing. Johnny is new. Yeah. Sometimes you're gonna have to reshoot something. That's
Right.
totally fine. And as experience settles in, you're gonna flow better. Now, for instance,
Oh yeah.
last month I did a promo with David, and I've done a couple of joint promos with David, and it's just, we feel like on the cameras, we talk, and it's solid. We've done it for a while, and we've even done joint promos a couple of times. So experience is key.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Oh
No,
yeah. Those. And even though I don't have a green screen or nothing because I can't afford any of that right now. I just way I do my promos. It's just I do the best I can to have it set up and you know best my wording out for whoever I'm facing.
yeah. Now Selena has a bit of a mixed question regarding you, also regarding real wrestlers. She asked if you could do a WWE, WCW, or ECW character, who would you choose to be in WWO?
Oh boy. Choose a WWE wrestler like any
Which real life
which
wrestler would you
name.
want to be in WWO, basically?
Okay. I Oh, that's a hard choice. Oh man. Yeah, some of my favorite wrestlers right now. I would want to be the voice of the voiceless. I would
All
want to
right.
be CM Punk.
Okay.
I would want to sit in the middle of that ring and grab the microphone and just say, I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest. You know?
All right. So would TMX have a lot to get off his chest as a character, or is it just something you want to work towards?
I would work towards that.
Okay. Okay.
I would definitely work towards that if it comes that time. But I would work towards that. Like I already have something big in mind to try to be that pipe bomb. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we probably have a little bit of time to kill after the podcast, so I'm curious to hear that. Obviously, we're not going to spoil anything on here,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear what that plan of yours is, and we can see what we could do in terms of that. Now, in terms of building your history, you have one accolade on your name, and you are the current Dealer's Choice winner. Obviously, the ladder match where you draw a card and you get to face a champion. We haven't revealed who you're going after just yet, but you're the card. Jeez, you're the card holder. How do you feel about that? Winning that match?
When I was when I was in that ladder match, and it was for an opportunity at a championship. I was like, I had to go for it. I know I had several opportunities at several chances before, and but then this opportunity came up, a dealer's choice, and then this ladder match at Halloween Horror, and I was like, I had to take that, and when I won, and then choosing the card, I was like, okay, this is going to be huge. This could be life. This could be a life-changing career opportunity for me, and it definitely is right now.
Yeah, the card can be anything. It could be a world
It could
title.
be anything.
It can be a North American title. Maybe you're gonna have to find a tech partner and go for the tech titles. We'll figure out eventually. But
Yeah, we will.
at some point, TMX is gonna come rushing down and cash in that card for a match, similar to how Jeremy did so last year for the world title.
Um,
And we'll have to see. Speaking of Jeremy, quite early on in your tenure in WWO, you get to face Jeremy in a world title match. Um, how do you feel about being put in that position quite early on?
I was honored to be facing Jeremy for the world title. That's so quick in my career here in WWL. It's like when you're starting out in WWL, you have to wait so long. You have to earn the opportunity. You have to go so far, and then you'll get that world title shot. And then to get this title shot so early, it was wow. I was in awe to have that, and to face him was crazy. He is one hell of a wrestler. He really is.
Now, speaking of other title matches, you were in the hardcore title match with Hellbilly and Chim, the triple threat. The the match Chim became hardcore champion. What were your thoughts on that match? I do gotta say, I was the one recording the match. I had a lot of fun recording it. I think the finish went great. It was kind of what we planned to have a finish like that, and just having that plan in your head and actually making the game work that out is fairly difficult. I'm glad it worked out. Um, but yeah, your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, the finish was wild. Like that was one of the best finishes I've seen in a long time. I had when I was part of that match, I was like, and I put Hellbilly through the flaming table, and then Chim threw me out of the ring, and then she pinned Hellbilly. I was like, son of a. I was that close. I had, that's why me and Hellbilly are going back and forth right now, because Hellbilly, was the one saying that I cost him the hardcore title. And really, I did, because I put him through the flaming table, and then Chim threw me out of the ring, and she became hardcore champion for the first time.
Jim
But
Stoll.
that was one of the best matches I've had so far.
Very well could be, for sure. Now, obviously, we're a last
Yeah,
minute addition.
and yeah, and in the future, there's going to be a lot more great matches.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. I mean, I should be sure of it. I record a lot of them. Same as David and Jeremy. But
Yeah,
yeah. We'll need to make sure it looks good. That's none of your worries. But yeah, you were a last minute addition to the hardcore match. I know that I was talking to Scully and Jeremy when we were reaching the show, and we figured, hey, TMX has been putting in some good work. He hasn't been here for a very long time, but the promos have been good, and he's listening to feedback. So I think we should throw him in something. I'm not sure who brought it up, but we decided to get you into that triple threat match, and turned out to be a pretty fun match. Um, but yeah, last minute addition kind of just happened because you put in some decent work at the time. That must be good to hear, right?
It's like anything can happen in WWO.
Absolutely. I uh I can also tell you, a little bit behind the scenes. Uh, at first, it was planned to have Hellbilly versus Jim, and
Mhm.
we had to plan to have Hellbilly retain at that time, and it's kind of having you in a match with the potential of making that a feud that we decided to put the belt on Jim. So, if you weren't going to be in the match, Jim wouldn't have been hardcore champion at this point, probably.
Right. Yeah. That was the whole thing. That that if I being put in the match like at the very last minute, and then being like I was like a wild card in that match. I was like a am I gonna be this? Am I gonna be this guy that's gonna get in there? It's supposed to be Hellbilly's night. It's supposed to be Jim's night. Oh no, I'm going to get in there and steal the show, steal the spotlight.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you've been in quite a few title matches. You haven't won a title yet, but what ambitions would you have in WWO?
But what's that? I couldn't hear you.
What ambitions do you have in WWO? What would you like to accomplish?
Oh boy, definitely be a future world champion. Yeah, that's main goal. I know that's a lot. I know that's everybody's main goal. Everybody on the roster is to be the world champion, and to be the top person in WWO. For me, for me, it's just having a title or not. It's just for me to have a good time and to be a part of this, to be a part of this family, and to enjoy the ride that I'm on.
Yeah. Now, you did say something. You said everyone wants to be world champion. That's the goal on everyone's mind. Um,
Yeah.
I I think I can say this. I know there are two people on this roster who do not care about being world champion, and those two are OSU Phoenix. He's just here to have a good time. He doesn't care if he ever wins the world title or not. And the other person who doesn't really care about being a world champion is our current one, Jeremy. He did not care about winning the world title. And that's legit. He was very honored because Jeremy didn't book himself to be world champion. He's part of the booking team, but he never decided that. That was a decision I made with Scully, and he was very honored that we said, "Hey, we want you to be the world champion in WWO." But that was never his goal. His goal was just to have fun stories, good promos, and tell some creative stuff. That's always been his goal. And having the world title now is something he definitely enjoys, obviously. Um, but yeah, it wasn't something that he ever really aspired to do.
Yeah, I just know whenever when the time does come for me to be champion, and whenever that moment happens, it's going to be an emotional moment for me. It's going to be something because I've only been in this company not for so long, and yeah, whenever that time comes, it's going to be an emotional moment. It's going to, I know I'm going to have a lot of, whenever you become new champion, a lot of people always want to go right after you. They want this match against you, and they want to take your title away.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say the reason I mention it is obviously, I don't think it's wrong for anyone to be ambitious. Um, with that said, it's something I've heard a couple of times now, off scripts. People want to go for champions, and that's fun, and I get that. I'm definitely in the same
Right.
boat in that regard. Um, but I feel like it's a good opportunity to manage that. uh, Titles are kind of a means to an end. They don't really have to be the main goal. Like it's fun if you can be the world champion, and no one's gonna hate being the
Oh
world
yeah.
champion. But the thing that often drives people to become that is by having a little bit of a different frame of mind. They want to get the good stories out. They want to get the good promos out. They want to make sure that the people watching have a good time. And you don't need a world title for that to make that happen. And you don't need a world title to make an impact. The thing is,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and
You're right.
and
Yeah, you don't
this,
you don't need to be
yeah,
you don't need to be a world champion to become famous. You don't really need to be.
yeah, exactly. And I can also tell you with someone more old school like Scully, um, and I'm kind of in the same boat when it comes to that. The world title is not as much the thing that's gonna make someone a star. We want to have the stars to make the world title. So that's just a little bit of advice for you and everyone else. Um, you're not gonna become great by being a world champion. You're gonna become a world champion by being great. So
Right.
that's always a little thing to think about. Just have your mindset on being great at what you do, and titles are gonna come your way. Just
Yeah, and it's like some of the real wrestlers I know that and like real wrestlers like I know like Razor Ramon. He never became world champion, and he became famous. Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig never became world champion. He became famous. Um, and there was a lot of other wrestlers out there, a lot of Hall of Famers out there that weren't world champion. They became some of the best in the business.
exactly. So it's something I wanted to throw out there. I always love having one piece of monologue every episode. That was it. Um, but yeah. Now obviously you have ambitions of what you want to be. Are there any people you would love to face in WWO? Anyone on the roster you're thinking, man, I would love to have a match against that person?
Oh boy. Anybody? It's hard to choose. There's so many on the roster here. Um, One would be you. Um, to face.
I, if I do remember
Oh,
correctly, I
this
think
is.
I think we faced off for the international title at some
Did we
point.
have a match?
Yeah, I think we had a match.
Oh, it was for the title.
Yeah,
We
the
did.
international title. You've
Oh yeah, the
um
international title. That's right.
you've faced a decent amount of people already in a relative short time.
I had, in a short time, I have faced a lot. Um, Anybody? What are they call? Are they called the? Are they still called the Freak Show?
They changed the name 2 weeks ago on Zone to the Outcast.
What was it? The
Yeah.
Outcasts. Okay. Any member of the Outcasts, I would face.
All right.
Love to face.
All right.
Um, and it's just any talent that wants to come up and face me, I'm all for it.
So when it comes to the Outcast, would you because at this point it's Jeremy, the Reapers, Wade, Jocelyn, and Quinn. Would you rather face Wade Bishop or the Reapers?
They are some tough guys, let me tell you. I would face Wade.
Wade. All right. That's a bit of a
Wade would be it'd be a tough challenge, but I think me and him would have a good match.
yeah, probably. Definitely two more brawly, you know, just punch people in the mouth style wrestlers. That's always fun. Now I do gotta say I kinda wish you said the Reapers because my next question was gonna be if you had to form a tag team with anyone on the roster, who would you pick as your tag partner?
If me and him ever got along, it would be me and Hellbilly.
I can see that for sure.
If we had ever got along, because right now we have a certain rivalry,
Yeah.
but if we had ever gotten along, I think me and him versus the Reapers will be a great tag match.
Cool. Because that's another thing. I'm gonna have one more short monologue. Um, One thing I really want to build towards at this point is having just a really fun tag division, and
Oh yeah.
we're doing pretty well, you know. And I love the work that we see from Cuba's Finest and Dangerously Crazy. Um, just sad to know that those two teams are the same people behind them. Um, so so yeah, and anyone wanna help build the tech division? Again, if anyone on the roster is listening, if you do find it within yourself to find a tech partner, either within WWO or outside, because we always bring people in, keep that in mind. Because tech division is something that you can always kind of thrive in. It's not a too big division, but it's big enough for diversity. So yeah, it's over the last couple of weeks, I've mentioned that the women's division is very small and we need more women to make it truly exciting. The tag division has enough tag teams to be exciting enough. We just need a little bit more to make it really top level. And with that being said, if anyone wants to become a tag team, you'll find yourself in a pretty decent spot on the roster. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I digress. Um, you haven't been here for too long, but you have been doing promos for 13 years. Now, like you said, you mainly wanted to join WWO because you wanted to get better at promos, and I I feel like you've improved over the last couple of months. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I have. I know there's a lot of things I still need to work on, and that that's why I get advice from you, and I get advice from Jeremy, and I there's still things I still need to improve on. You know, the way I talk, the way I'm using the words, not to repeat myself, not to go back on this subject, like twice in a row or something like that. Just pour it out all in one promo and just not repeat myself. That's what I do a lot. Unfortunately, um, and I try not to. Like,
Yeah. Now, I do want to say you are quite the interesting case at this point because we've had people come in and either Jeremy kind of takes care of them or I kind of take care of them. And you are the first person that we both really took care of in terms of advice and promos and tips and stuff like that. Now, what I actually really would like to know, because you are the only person who can give an honest answer to this. When Jeremy and I give you advice on anything regarding promos, do you feel like we often complement each other's advice or contradict each other?
I feel like you give me the right advice for me to work on. You definitely gave me the right advice that what I actually need to work on, and I practice sometimes even when I'm not in front of a camera. I practice it. I try to think about the words in my head, and then go not press the not record it, but just tell it to myself, and then I'll be like, okay, this is the advice you and Jeremy have given me. I'll write this down, I'll write that down, or something like that. And you have given me the best advice.
Great to hear. But what I'm curious about is the advice that Jeremy gives you and the advice that I give you, is that aligned with each other? Because we don't actually discuss a lot when it comes to giving advice. Like sometimes we mention a few things to each other,
Um,
but most of the time it's just like, uh, yeah, I talked to TMX about this, and then he says, yeah, I talked to TMX about that. And what I'm kind of curious about, because this could be a learning moment for us too, is when we give you that advice, is it actually like something you can work on from both sides, or is it kind of like I can work on that or I can work on that, but I'm gonna have to choose between one of the two for now, if you know what I mean?
oh, I can work on it from both sides.
Okay,
I really can. Yeah.
that's good to know. So yeah, like I said, you are in unique case with this, to the fact that Jeremy and I are both giving you advice when normally one of us gives someone advice. Um, I can also say that kind of just happened because normally we just have one of us talk to someone, and at this point we kind of approached you at a similar time, which is kind of why this happened. Um,
Right.
pure happenstance. But how do you feel about that? That um, we're both on your case, so to speak.
Like you're both of my case promo wise, like just
Yeah,
like
the both of us are coaching you instead of one of us.
uh I I really don't mind. I mean, it's whoever I can get that advice from, and you and Jeremy, like I said before, give me the best, and like I said, I can work on both sides of it.
All right. Furthermore, when it comes to the coaching side of things, Jeremy and I, we both have our different styles.
Hmm.
What would you say is something that puts Jeremy apart from myself and myself apart from Jeremy when it comes to giving advice? In what way is our advice different?
It really all depends. Like when you give me the advice of how to, you know, like Jeremy gives me advice to write stuff down on a list of what I should try to say in the promo and put it all together in one promo and not try to repeat myself at it. And I know you give me the advice not to repeat myself, and that's what I try to do. And it's not, you know, I don't know how to say it. It's not the repeating part gets to me a lot, and I get mad about it sometimes. But I try to do retakes. Like if I need to do it 3, 4 times or 5 times over again, then that's what I need to do. And the difference between you and Jeremy, it's really about the same.
Okay. That's quite interesting to hear, actually. That's huh. I kind of already mentioned it, but I'm gonna ask it anyway because I did write it down, and I'm curious what you come
Yeah.
up with. Um, what do you think is still your weakest part of your promos?
It's the repeating part. That is the that's the weakest part is the repeating and actually and pausing it too. And pausing part.
Okay.
And like if I pause for like a second or so, then it's like I'm okay. I'm trying to figure it out. Then I'll go back to talking, or it's like, oh, okay, like crap. I forgot I already said that. That's my weakest point at the moment.
Do you still use lists of bullet points when you promo?
Yes, I do.
Where do you keep the list? Is it like properly in eyesight or?
Yeah, it's an eyesight. It's like right beside where where I record it.
Okay.
I try to, obviously I keep it out of sight. I try not to look at the list. I try to like use one eye and still look at the camera.
Yeah. But you do try to look at the list while recording, right? Because I have caught it
Yeah,
a few times in your promos. Um,
it has, yes.
and this is gonna be a fun little bit because I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice regarding that live here on stream so everyone can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I would recommend you do is instead of going to have a sneak peek at that list during the recording, is
Mm-hmm.
get that list out of sight. Just read through the bullet points and think of what you might say for each bullet point. So let's say one of your bullet points is, for instance, you're about to have a match against Billy Gore. Just saying, and
Mm-hmm.
you're still in your feud with Hellbilly. So in this promo, you want to call out Hellbilly. Um, so the bullet point says call out Hellbilly. They might think, how will I call out Hellbilly? And ahead of recording, you might think, Hellbilly, don't think I've forgotten about you. That's a call out. Then, as you're recording, you might forget that line, but you can think of something else in the moment. And when you do that and you don't look at the list while recording, you force yourself to think in a way that sounds relevant and natural in the conversation you're already having. And when you do that,
Right.
it's gonna take some time getting used to, but if you have that piece of paper away from you and you just look at it before recording and after recording, then you can have kind of a proper conversation with yourself as far as that's possible. Because if you do look at the list in between, one of the things you might risk is you catch a point that you forgot about. And that can happen. Sometimes you forget one of your points, and
Yeah.
at that point, you're going to try to get that point in. while it's probably not at the right place, or it doesn't really make sense because suddenly you're talking about the match against Billy Gore while you were calling out Hellbilly, for instance, and that's gonna make the promo flow a little bit weird, and then by the end you're done recording and you're not really satisfied with it. Um, while, for instance, if you do have this monologue with yourself and you forgot that point, you might think about the promo and think, well, I may have missed at one point, but the promo is good. I don't need that point. So I hit 7 of the 8 points that I had on my list. I forgot the one. That one's actually not that important. Actually, the promo is good the way it is. And,
Right.
obviously, when there are story plots that you have to mention, you want to mention them. But sometimes it's okay if you forget something. And I can promise you, in just about every single one of my promos, I have like a list of 12 things I want to say. And I mentioned 10 of them. And then by the end of the recording, I'm just thinking, I miss those two, but you know what? The promo does what it needs to do, and that's all that matters. So, that basically.
Yeah, and that's the best thing for me to do.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of advice to get in there
Definitely.
for next time. In the meantime, on the ramble about talking to yourself, Selena said, I have conversations with myself since no one else listens. I feel that. Monica says, I never listen to what you say. Awesome. And Scully is lurking around here. There's a little bit of beef between Selena and Monica. That's fun. That's cool. More on that in Women of Wrestling. That's for sure. But yeah. So we kind of went into that a little bit. I think the moving away from the bullet points will also stop you from risking to say things again. And if you have to think for it yourself, and you're not going to give yourself the time to look at the list and figure out what you might want to say, um, you're going to get rid of your pauses more naturally, I
Right.
think.
Yeah. The more the pauses, it gets to me.
I think that's incorporating that into your next promo is probably gonna suck at first. I'm gonna be very honest.
Yeah.
If you're used to having that list next to you and you use that kind of as a crutch, removing that, awful, absolutely awful. And the first promo, you're gonna
Right.
forget half the stuff you mentioned to say. You're gonna be like, this is unusual crap," and it will be. And they're gonna do
Yeah.
take two and a take three, and at that point you're thinking, well, actually, this is pretty good, and I can live with this. And that's the moment you submit it, and I'm gonna look at it, and Jeremy's gonna look at it, and we're happy.
Right.
As Kelly says, practice in front of a mirror and look at yourself when you do it. It helps. The old school
Yeah,
way, the old
that's
school
what I
way of
try to
learning.
do all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit of life coaching here on Off Scripts. That's a new one. But yeah,
So I hear, folks. Here, folks. It's all here first.
but yeah, that's what we're here for, to help people out, and I think you've improved a lot over the 7 or so months that you've been here. And, that's
Yeah.
good. And
And I keep on trying to improve it every single day.
yeah, and I think one of the best qualities that you've had that you showed on early on is that you're willing to listen. Um, and it's very adamant that one of the first things she said to Jeremy, because he was so happy to say that to Scully and myself, is TMX reasons for joining is actually because he wants to learn. And
Yeah.
that's great. If you have the mindset to be willing to learn, you're gonna take the advice so much better than if you don't, or if you think you have all the answers
Mm.
already. And
Mm.
there have been people like that who think they have all the answers, they know exactly what to do when they didn't, and those people don't last. And right now, you're still here. So yeah, we've um we've kind of went over everything. We've went over your Dealer's Choice match, winning the card, potentially becoming a champion. Who knows when? We've talked about what inspired you as a character, both in WWO and in real life. We talked about your fascination for hardcore wrestling, and we've talked about the studying the promos. So I think we kind of went through everything at this point. Now, is there anything you
Oh yeah.
wanna mention about WWO that you wanna get off your chest now that you have the time?
Well, I want to thank everybody here in the WWO. You know, you, Jeremy, Scully, Jocelyn, Jim, everybody here on the roster, and everybody that has welcomed me into WWO. I thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of this, because definitely a bigger learning experience for me, and I feel honored, and I feel very grateful.
Very glad to hear that. Absolutely. Now, I think that is probably going to be a bit of a wrap. It's a short one this week, but then again, you haven't been here for too long, so I'm suspecting that if we meet again on off script somewhere next year, that we're gonna have so much more to talk about, which is gonna be, something to look forward to. For now, of course, off scripts is gonna be back next week, and we're gonna do something a little bit different because I've kind of ran out of people on the roster to ask for this who have been here long enough to actually chat about. As for the few that haven't been on here yet, they're a little bit out of time, so we'll have to see about when that happens. I know Cal is coming up at some point in December, but for next week, I'm going to be joined by Jeremy as we talk about the future of wrestling. And with that, I mean the future of real life wrestling, not WWO. So it's going to be a little bit different for off scripts next week. But, be sure to tune in, and maybe Jeremy and I reveal a little bit about what we look for when it comes to wrestling stars. And that will also showcase how we make booking decisions. So, get me for retro. Scully already talked about retro games with Mr. G earlier this week, so it's gonna have to wait. Retro wrestling. But yeah, I'll be here with Jeremy next week. Obviously, tomorrow or Sunday. Looking at Scully in chat, we're gonna have Slime and Stream. Again, it might be on Sunday because of Survivor Series. Scully, if you can confirm or not, that'd be great. Since he's here. Sunday. All right, we'll be back on Sunday with Slime and Stream. TMX will be on Slime and Stream. I'll be on Slime and Stream. We'll see Jeremy on Slime and Stream. You'll see everyone on Slime and Stream, so be sure to check that out. Obviously, at the usual time,
Yeah,
7
yeah,
p.m.
yeah.
EST.
Everybody's gonna be watching Survivor Series. If I could say, it's gonna be War Games.
Yeah. So once
I didn't do a good William Regal impression.
yeah, not a lot of people can, to be perfectly honest.
No.
But yeah, once everyone has had their fill of the minor leagues of WWE on Saturday, you can tune in on Sunday for the real show, which is WWO Slam and Stream. Now, of course, with that very arrogant comment out of the way, everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you are watching this on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. If you are watching on Twitch, make sure to follow our channel to make sure you do not miss any of our future shows, be that off scripts or a wrestling show. And, as always, we're gonna end with a little trailer. Join us.
Have you ever heard of independent virtual pro wrestling? Do you think you've got what it takes to be a part of WWO? Do you want to see what it takes to be a WWO superstar, commentator, producer, or social media specialist? Then get a hold of us here at WWO. You can email Jeremy at helcoshellhouse@gmail.com or join our Discord.